What a marvelous trip at Santa Rosa Island for Alex Serrano, his friends, and his twin boys, Juan and George. The boys tied into a monster halibut and had to work together to try to subdue this beast. The only question left, would they be able to land it?
It looks like a heavy one.
Let's see, put it back in the rod holder.
Oh, bro.
Oh, yeah, it's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Help them out, okay?
Okay.
Teamwork, come on, teamwork. There you go.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah.
A big halibut.
Well, the highlight of the trip was watching the boys struggle with that giant halibut. Alex Serrano also caught his personal best, a 32-pound flatty. Great yellowtail action yesterday in Ensenada for El Delfin Sport Fishing as they had a four-way jig strike on the trolled rapalas on sizable yellowtail. Check out the action.
Uno arriba, cuidado. Color, siguiendo color. ¿Saltar? ¡Esa chica!
An incredible trip for KJ from Mag 12 Swim Baits and three other buddies as they went to Santa Rosa Island, had limits of halibut their very first day, 20 halibut for four guys, fish all over 20 pounds, one 32-pound standout. They were running low on bait the next day, still caught another 6 flatfish and limited out on rockfish. Tremendous fishing at Santa Rosa Island for this group of lucky anglers. It doesn't get much better than this. Good morning, my dear friends. There is so much going on in Southern California, northern Baja, California, in sport fishing. It's incredible. How about today? Limits of white sea bass. We'll tell you where and just how good it was. How about some incredible halibut fishing? The powder keg has started to erupt. Absolutely phenomenal halibut fishing going on. More and more yellowtail showing up in a variety of locations. We'll go out to the Excalibur. My son was there looking for bluefin tuna. We'll find out what he knows. We'll also check in with Captain Daniel Hadaway in today's report on the Island Spirit out of Ventura Harbor sport fishing to see how good fishing's been up there. We have got so much going on. It is absolutely incredible. You know what time it is. It's time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Oh my God, I miss my beach, but I'm on the road a little bit, and it's always good to be with you. How about that lead in with the twins battling that monster halibut? I love those two kids. What a great job that was. Don't forget, hit that like button. We deeply appreciate it when you do that. Share these videos with a friend and subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget, tick the bell. You will be notified when there's breaking news and new content, something you're going to want to stay up on all season long. We're just getting going here right now. Don't forget, you can follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. We'll have it all there for you on a regular basis. There is some great stuff going on, and we'll be covering more of it tonight on our live show, Tackle Shop Confessions with Sam De La Torre and Island Fishing Tackle. You'll be able to ask Sam any question you like about the current bite, what kind of tackle you need to have to be the best fisher, the best angler you can be out on the water. What's going to give you the best chance? Sam and I will be at Island Fishing Tackle showing you all exactly what you're going to need. Tonight at 6 p.m. live, make sure you tune in and ask a question. Man, there is so much to talk about, so let's jump into it. We'll go south the border. The yellowtail fishing was a little bit hit and miss yesterday on the yellows. There's been a lot of fish right inside Bahia de Ensenada, so not a long run at all. The guys from El Delfin Sport Fishing, however, had some really great action, as you could see on the lead, and had a quadruple jig strike on the trolled rapalas. That's some pretty good stuff. Yo-yo iron, surface iron has been effective. Mixed with it are some big bonita, and also we continue to catch copious amounts of colorful rockfish, if that's what you want to do. There's also been some good sand bass fishing in that neck of the woods with an occasional big halibut. Now, Nacho, he runs out of Victor's Blackfin sport fishing. Blackfin sport fishing out there on Punta Banda, and man, he went far yesterday, probably 40 plus miles, looking for bluefin tuna closer to Ensenada, and he just didn't find water that was warm enough to support that kind of life. At least that's what he surmised. He thought it was the cooler water temperature. Didn't see any bluefin at all near Ensenada. We'll continue to watch that for you very, very closely. Hopefully, that is going to continue to head in the right direction. Just a reminder to you all, tomorrow night, Tuesday night, a grunion run starts in the Southern California beaches. It's a great thing to show your kids, and I'll have more about why that's important to our surf fishing bite as we go along. All right, let's jump across the border and talk bluefin tuna, and I'll tell you, it has still been very hit and miss, but finally, we are starting to see the fish, starting to catch a few here and there. It's not wide open, but there's been a little bit going on. 3 fish on the Independence. The guys on the Indy, as usual, raved about the boat and the crew, and it's only a matter of time till that bluefin tuna turns on. They're able to catch some really nice rockfish on that trip also. Let's go out to the Excalibur. My son Philip was on board, get a report from him, and try to pick his brain a little bit more about exactly what's going on in the offshore bite in San Diego for bluefin tuna, and a surprise, some kelp patty yellows. Take it away, Philip.
This son, Philip Jr., he's on board the Excalibur, headed back in from a 2-day trip, and there's a lot of people listening, Philip. They want to know about the bluefin tuna. They want to know about what you guys did. First of all, how are you, and how was the trip?
You know what, man? We did a company trip through XLP, the Excalibur, and we took a lot of guys out that didn't. They're real green. Didn't know what they're doing really too much. The crew took care of them, tied them up, rigged them up, and they gave us our fair shot at bluefin tuna fishing. Now, the bluefin, we marked a lot of fish in the morning. We just could not get them to bite. They were there. They're on the graphs and everything. Would not come up, wouldn't boil, nothing like that. We did see a couple come up and puddle, but would not take anything. They're acting real finicky right now. So we ended up switching gears, going into Colonette and fishing rockfish. And I'll tell you what, man, Dad, you would have loved this rockfish. And it was so much fun. Caught the biggest link out of my life. It was huge. I had to get a gap up in the bow. Cole was throwing a jig. My cousin Cole throwing a jig, catching big, beautiful reds, which I'll send photos to you about. But I mean, everybody's going home with a decent stack of fish. Now, after we got done with that, Chuck turned the motor back and going back for bluefin. Gave us a fair shot at bluefin. They started marking fish left and right during the night. I slept through it. My cousin Cole, who's standing right next to me, he ended up getting his first flatfall fish of his life that night,
Congratulations.
and it went about 60 pounds, man. I was very jealous, but he got one for 60. Now, after that, we fished bluefin this morning. Really didn't see anything, so Chuck goes, you know what, let's go look for some kelps, and we'll see if we can find something. Headed back towards San Diego, we found some kelps that were holding yellowtail, and we ended up with about half a dozen yellows. Some of them were rats, not going to lie to you, but some of them were really good quality fish as well. And Cole just reminded me, we lost about 8 fish fishing those kelp patties, so those patties are starting to hold.
This is all fantastic news, man. I mean, I am stoked. We kind of had the feeling the bluefin tuna were going to be skittish on your trip. We talked about it before you left in San Diego, but the fact that they're seeing them and metering them, that's a good sign.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, like we were on the Indy, Dad, together for 5 days. Saw 2 fish the entire time. Chuck was making stops left and right, finding fish. They just were not wanting to play.
All right, good stuff. How was Chuck? How was the boat?
You know, it was funny. I got on the boat and I looked at him and I go, you know who I am? And he looked at me and goes, you look awfully familiar. And I go, I'm Phil's kid. And he goes, dude, I remember doing interviews at Angel Stadium and you were knee high. And we started chuckling about that. And I'll tell you this, we had a lot of fun on this trip, and a lot of it had to do with Chuck on that microphone. He said, I'm not going to repeat it. He said some funny stuff over that microphone to us, man, and we had a blast with him. It was just a construction crew mixing with the fishing crew. It was the perfect match. And we all got along. It was a lot of fun, and the fishing was great. I had a blast. All these guys are hooting and hollering. We're all going home with quality fish in our bag, so it was a good time.
Yeah, man, that sounds good. And Chuck's a funny guy, and I'm so happy that the Excalibur turned out to be such a great trip for you guys. And we kind of talked about it. I even mentioned you. I go, man, I think I'd go look at calling that. Now Chuck knows a lot more than me, but he obviously came to that conclusion. And man, I mean, when you say, Dad, you would have loved it. Oh my God, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I mean, I caught a giant ling, and that was the biggest ling. The guys that were on here that are real green don't know they caught big lings too, and they know how significant that is. It's hard to come across those, but we came across some fish, man. There was the biggest bocaccio I've ever seen, the biggest reds I've ever seen, 300 foot of water. It was nuts.
Man, that is great fishing. 16-ounce torpedo, is that about right in that water?
We got away with 12. Got away with 12. The weather was beautiful out here. It was nice. We saw dolphins today. Today was the flats. We had a little bit of wind yesterday and a little bit of chop, but today was beautiful weather. It was a little cloudy, so it was hard to kind of find those kelp patties, but we ended up finding them anyway, so it worked out.
You know, I don't think I've heard anything. I may have missed it, but I haven't heard anything about kelp patty yellowtail this year. I think you guys are on the cutting edge.
I think this is the first boat to do it. I haven't heard anything about kelp patty yellows.
All right, very good. So
I've been wrong before.
Yeah, that makes two of us.
Yeah.
Hey, was the bluefin tuna zone really far from? Were there bluefin tuna close to Catalina?
Yes, they were. Yes,
Okay.
wasn't that much longer run at all.
Good. And did you see any fish closer to home? Any bluefin?
We didn't mark anything coming back up the line, and these boys were burning their eyes out looking. They were all looking.
All right, good stuff. And shoot, I don't know what else to ask you. It just sounds like XL Paving tore up the Excalibur, and the Excalibur provided you guys with great customer service and a comedian on the PA.
I'll give you guys a funny story. The XL Paving crew came in and drank this boat out of beer. Luckily, Chuck's son is running the ledge, and we ran over them, and their deckhands were hurling 30 packs from the stern of their boat to the bow. Man, we got a funny video of it, man, and they're just chucking them and catching them to give us another 630 pack. So it was a fun trip all around.
Come on, a bunch of construction guys drinking you out of beer? That I don't believe that.
This is after we warned them and said pack extra.
Hey, well, great stuff. You got Cole got a bluefin. That's tremendous.
A lot of
first sleeping.
Dude, I slept right there. I went to bed at 7 o'clock last night. He said, Cole, tell him how you're trying to wake me up.
I was slapping him in the face, and he would not wake up.
I was out. Not happening.
Hey, while Cole is standing there, why don't you ask him to describe how he caught that fish?
Yeah, tell him.
It was a knife jig. They were 300 feet. I dropped it down to 300, and on the way back up, they smacked the shit out of it.
Tell him. But it felt like when that fish bit it.
Bus.
It felt like a train hit it. He told me this morning, he goes, I've never felt something hit a lure that hard. And he said some superlatives at the end there, but I'm going to skip those.
All right, we can fill in the blank. How long did it take him to land that fish?
How long, Cole? 20 minutes.
Oh,
He was on a heavy outfit.
That is great. Fantastic. All right, you guys, are you in the harbor now?
We're just getting in.
Beautiful Point Loma in San Diego. You're heading into H&M. Hey, Philip,
yes,
that was a lot of fun. Thanks for a great update. Kelp patty yellowtail, a sign of bluefin tuna, tremendous rock fishing, and you had a lot of fun with Chuck and the Excalibur. Sounds like a great trip.
Yep, and I missed the giant bonita. We got giant bonita on Mad Max.
Oh man, that's bitching.
Yeah, it was cool, man. It was a great trip. We all had fun.
All right, Philip, thanks for a great update. Really appreciate it. Drive safe going home. Love you very much, and great seeing you.
Love you too, Dad. See you guys on the water.
All right, great report, son. Always good to see you. So happy that you had such a great trip out there on the water. I love those kelp patty yellowtail. That says a lot. And Chuck on board the Excalibur, man, it sounds like he was entertaining everybody. It sounded like a lot of fun. So hit and miss on our bluefin tuna. Seeing it, still not biting that well. Fingers are crossed that it's going to click one of these days and really start to bite. Hopefully that will be soon. If you have income tax needs, you want to talk to Tim Marquez, nobody better than Tim at A Best Income Tax. And for your heating and air conditioning needs, you want to go straight to John Lopez at Efficient Heating and Air Conditioning. He will take care of it all for you. All right, those kelp patty yellows are very, very interesting, and that leads us into the Coronado Islands, where the Liberty yesterday had a good pop on the yellows with over 20 yellowtail at the Coronado Islands. They also had excellent bottom fishing going on. So we are seeing this progression of yellowtail. We've been watching it down in San Quintin for literally months. It's been good. 140 miles south of the border. Now we have that bite going on in Ensenada. Kelp patty fish also. And now the Coronado Islands. We've seen fish up at St. Clemente Island. The Freedom and the Amigo at a 22nd Street landing have seen yellowtail up in that neck of the woods. So that certainly seems to be headed in the right direction. Hopefully that's going to continue to progress and head in the right direction. Those yellows are pushing up the coast. Hopefully there'll be more of that to come. All right, let's talk about the San Diego bite locally. Just one angler I've got to point out. John Ho is a great guy. John had great fishing on board the Dolphin, but he provided us with this very special angler and a 17-pound beautiful sheephead. Man, I'll tell you, jackpot fish for that young angler, and that warms my heart. That is really great stuff. We'll talk about the rockfish bite in a second, but let's focus in on this incredible halibut fishing. You saw it from the private boaters, KJ from Mag 12 Swim Baits, and Alex Serrano with his twins out there and his friends just having some magnificent fishing. But the Endeavor Ventura sport fishing with 22 halibut yesterday. We saw several boats getting in on this flatfish bite, and I think it's only the beginning. I think you're going to see more scores today, and in the subsequent days, it's gonna go absolutely crazy. Dropper loop is perhaps the best way to fish for those halibut. Sardine or squid work well. If you want to fish those white fluke tails, that is also super effective, but the halibut bite is on. And the great fish, I mean, there's fish that are short and barely legal, but there's a lot of this 15 to 20 plus pound halibut. Really beautiful fish right now as the halibut bite is in full swing. The epicenter of this seems to be the Channel Islands right now. That's where you want to be if you want to catch a flatfish. Really an excellent signal and sign. We've been telling you for quite some time that the guys up there have also been seeing lots of white sea bass, but they just don't want to bite. That wasn't until yesterday. The Coral Sea limits of white sea bass. Right now, that is 1 white sea bass per rod. 22 white sea bass, I believe it was, something like that, on board the Coral Sea. Santa Barbara Sea landed. Channel Islands are coming to life just like they did last year and the year previous to that. In fact, this is no great surprise. This is when that area, the Channel Island area, starts to hit its stride and really bite well. So we are seeing some spectacular fishing. No question about it. We are loving all of that and more. As we take a look up and down the coast, the rockfish bite has been spectacular from down there in Ensenada all the way up to the Channel Islands and above there. Morro Bay with some great fishing. Monterey with some great lingcod fishing going on. It has been spectacular. The Californian out of Ventura Harbor sport fishing with all kinds of big fat rockfish. And I'll tell you, they've been running with light loads here out of Ventura recently, so it's a great time for you to get out with just a few anglers and load up with some of the finest eating fish in the sea. Californian, great trip. It's the old Matt Walsh, and they do a great job on there. Cody Rogers and the crew, absolutely fantastic. Hope you can take advantage of that really, really soon. Also up there out of Ventura Sport Fishing, the Endeavor with the 22 halibut, he's out of there, but the Island Spirit is also out of there. Let's go out and check in with my friend Captain Daniel Hottaway right now and see how fishing is. Daniel, take it away.
And really good boat burgers, I'm guessing, with Bert cooking down in the galley.
Yeah, I think he's still making them. He's been cooking for a while.
Oh, don't rub it in, man. I wish there was some way for me to transport myself there for a boat burger. Hey, so when's your next trip out?
Trip up online tomorrow. I do need some reservations to get off the dock tomorrow, and then we're still open party every other day this week. We have some interest on our trips. We got a few people signed. Obviously need more to run, so hoping to get off the dock tomorrow if we can get a few more reservations this evening.
All right, and that is 676-3474. All right, yeah, I got that, man. It's indelibly
Or
etched. It's in my brain.
VenturaSportFishing.com.
So you said you fished 240. Was that an 8,
Yeah.
10-ounce torpedo? Is that what would work?
We stuck with like 12 and 16-ounce sinkers just to try to avoid the tangles. Had a fair amount of current, so tried to keep the lines as straight up and down as possible. But it was no sweat. The kids all had a good time with it. Everybody caught plenty of fish. We got our limits of reds, and various other rockfish, some bankies, couple widows, starries, Johnny bass, blue bass, all kinds of good stuff. Then fished inside for whitefish for a little while, and then tried to catch a halibut before we went home, and everything went fairly well.
Man, what a great trip for all the kids on board, and it just sounds like a fabulous trip. And so people know in the coming week you might fish that 240, but you might get a little bit deeper. So good idea to bring tackle for both. And on most trips, you're giving the halibut, the sea bass, all that a check.
Absolutely, I love to do that. We have live bait again, so that's nice. On our last couple trips before this, we weren't able to get live sardine, but got plenty of live bait now. We have the the ammunition to go catch these things, and we love fishing for them. So it's always nice to give it a try for at least a little portion of our day before we go home. We ended up staying out late. We should have been in 15 minutes ago, but we're still about an hour from the dock. Tried to stay out a little bit to catch those halibut.
Yeah, and that, hey, I hate to tell everybody, but that's nothing new with you, man. You'll fish late. It's hard to get you off the water.
Yeah, well, we always check and make sure that nobody needs to get home urgently, but everyone was pretty excited to fish for a while longer, so we opted to do that.
All right, good stuff. And we mentioned it, but just so everybody knows, kids fish free every Sunday. What are the details on that special?
Yeah, so it's one child, ages 12 or under, for free with each adult ticket that you purchase. And we're doing that. We did it today, doing it next week. We'll do it every single Sunday this year. So always looking forward to our Kids Fish Free Sundays.
All right, fantastic trip on the Island Spirit. Just a few more people. Daniel needs to go tomorrow, and they're open party all week long. Kids Fish Free every Sunday. Nice weather. Man, I don't know what else to say, Daniel. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it was a great trip. But thanks for doing this, Phil. Good talking to all you guys, and hope we see you soon.
All right, Daniel, have a safe trip home, and hopefully you get out tomorrow. We'll check with you again, my friend.
Have a nice day.
Take care,
Thanks
Daniel.
so much, Daniel. What a great report, and it sounds fantastic. 805-676-3474. You're going to want to get out with those guys. The El Patron has been fishing Catalina Island out of Long Beach Sport Fishing, longbeachsportfishing.org, and they have been putting the hurt on the sheephead and the whitefish and a lot of other stuff. Most days limited out on the rockfish. Again, providing excellent table fare for everybody on board, but giving a check to the halibut, to the white sea bass, to the calico bass. It's been cold water and it hasn't been biting that well, but all those rockfish in your sector is nothing wrong with that. Pursuit 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, California. They've been after it also, and they've been doing really, really well. And elsewhere, everywhere we look, the rock fishing has been spectacular. When you have good weather, it's going to bite in most cases. If you have the good weather, and by that I mean lack of wind and heavy seas, you're going to be in the driver's seat. And it looks like we've got some great weather again here today. In the Southern California surf, there's been some outstanding Corbina fishing just starting to get going. It's going to get better and better and better as our water temperatures warm up. We've also seen more halibut. There is that grunion run starting Tuesday night, and all of that grunion coming up on the beaches. You know what that means. It means that there's going to be predators right behind it, and that is a great time to fish, whether it's at night during the grunion run or during that whole period. You can pick off some nice fish. And remember what they say, match the hatch. So what the fish are feeding on is what you want to present them with. So they're feeding on grunion. you want to present them with a grunion-looking type of lure, perhaps. So a chrome crocodile, something that flashes in the water, Lucky Craft lure, those all work really, really well during these grunion run because that's what the fish are seeing. That's what they're feeding on, and they see another one go by their nose. They're going to jump all over it. Alejandro Casillas with his first leopard shark fishing in the surf. Alejandro, congratulations. And south of the border, Hugo Gonzalez with his first halibut. Hugo, congratulations. It's a beautiful flatfish. We love to see that. Don't go anywhere. At the end of today's report, we had a little birthday party down in Ensenada for our very own Paulina Varela, who is my co-host in Mexico. She does such a great job. And we had a little birthday present for her. So you want to check that out at the very end of today's report. I guarantee you're going to love that. Speaking of the Southern California surf, big fish bait and tackle down there in the corner of Seal Beach Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway. They've got all the bait, tackle, everything you'll need. And they're giving away a free custom rod every single month. This month for the biggest Corbina. All you have to do is get that ruler, lay it in the sand with your catch, take a photo with the date inscribed in the sand, and upload it to the Big Fish Bait and Tackle Instagram page. No cost, you're in. You can win a beautiful custom fishing rod at Big Fish Bait and Tackle. Now's a good time to be surf fishing. It is really, really good right now. All right, my friends, what can I tell you? We are seeing all kinds of signs of life. That bluefin bite's still very frustrating. Starting to see the fish, that's good. Hopefully it's going to settle in and bite here. Best score in the last week, the last 3 weeks, let's put it that way. New Lohan with 22 fish. A lot of boats still not catching any fish, and a lot of boats with onesies, twosies, stuff like that. You heard Philip's report. I thought that was a great rundown on what's going on offshore. I like all the yellows that are pushing up the coast. We'll watch Ensenada for you all day long. Look out, halibut, white sea bass. That seems to be something that is happening right now. Don't forget, you can jump on a Friedman Adventures charter, but there's very few spots left. Make sure you give that a try right now. All right, listen. Have a great day. It's always great spending time with you. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. Stay tuned. Paulina, you want to see her get her birthday present? It was a special time for all of us down there in Ensenada. And don't forget tonight, Tackle, Shop, Confessions with Sam De La Torre from Island Fishing Tackle in Carson, California. You're not going to want to miss that. Have a great day. And as always, I hope to see you really, really soon. Everybody at Friedman Adventures. Not only me, not only Marcus, not only El Viejo, Rabo Verde, Greg, everybody else, but all the people who are fans, the thousands of people. We've got a birthday present. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Philly.
It's so good to be with you. And
yeah.
There's no, I mean, maybe a normal girl, you would bring flowers or something like that. Fish, all fishing. Take a look. That's all for you, kid.
Thank you. Ooh, my first Friedman Adventures merch, because Philip never gave me anything.
Oh, but now I did.
Thank you.
All right, hey, that's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's not the cap, it's me. And we have here.
Oh, we got some of the best hooks. Trocar hooks are so strong, so sharp. I think you probably know that, right?
Yeah, and I like this because the fish really, really get hooked.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Yes, these are very good. Ooh, Taddy lures.
Taddy, you love Taddy. You told me that.
I didn't know they make these ones like for jigging.
Yes.
I only know the ones.
Like surface irons.
Yeah, the surface.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one of those as well. Thank you.
Oh my God, there's so much stuff in here.
Jigging.
Yes.
Great, good colors.
Yep.
I like this one's down water.
We do too. That's a Daiwa SK lure.
Yeah.
Daiwa, another sponsor. I
have one of these ones, Daiwa, but a very small one. Like they gave me for surf fishing. Like
oh, okay. I know exactly.
20 grams or 40. Right. Yeah, that one. That's a cool one.
Right.
And more hooks.
Look at all these anzuelos.
Ooh, these are good. I can put it to my
lures.
Yes.
Yeah, those are really good.
Really good. I don't have this.
Man.
Thank you.
This
Woo!
is pretty too. Who packed
Yes.
this? Wasn't me.
Ooh, I need these ones. Thank you.
Oh,
Because I need to
perfect.
change the hooks. I
Yep.
forget the name. And hey, I have a lot of caps to
We got
change.
a Trocar, we got Promar. Promar's another great company.
Yes.
Both those guys are
So
fantastic.
I can have a lot of caps now for fishing. 'Cause
Yes.
I use the same
You
one
need
every
to cover
day.
up your bald head.
Yes, and I can take off this.
Yeah.
Good. This is pretty good. Thank you, Philip, for thinking
Oh,
about
that's
me.
okay, kid.
Yes, thank you
Happy
very much.
birthday.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you for
Thank
your
you for
support for
everything.
Paulina and everything. Thank you.